everybody, this is Richie from the Metal Cell podcast. I'm delighted to welcome Santiago from Svet Kant to the show.
Hey guys, how are you? Thanks for having us again, and big hi to all the audience.
Yeah, we were just talking about it earlier, August 2020, episode 86. Svet Kant were on, yourself and Dara the last time. So anybody that doesn't know about the band, please check out episode 86, so we won't spend 15 minutes trying to tell people about the band.
About us,
but certainly for those that are just watching, maybe new people, just do a quick synopsis of your band, if you don't mind.
Sure. We're Svet Kant. We are based in Dublin, and we're kind of like an experimental prog metal with a little bit of death elements in our music. And if you always say who are your bigger influence, so that people kind of get like a frame. So if we would have to define our biggest influences, it would be the likes of Opeth, Meshuggah, little bit of Gojira, Devin Townsend, Between the Buried and Me, a mix of everything.
And Santiago is the singer and vocalist as well.
Yeah, and we're in the process of releasing our new EP, which
and that's
we
why
will
you're on.
Totally talk about that now.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so that's great, man. You caught me by surprise, actually, when you contacted me. I was just going, wow, that's a great news to hear that there was an EP on its way. After the success, and I mean, you did get really a lot of successful reviews, and critics were really praising you for the Visage Unbiased. Those 3 tracks that you're coming out now on, the EP is called The Three Faces. Were those tracks around at the time of the Visage Unbiased? Or
not really. It took us like a while to get that album out. Mm-hmm. So it came out in 2019, and then we kind of toured quite a bit on that album throughout 2019, and 2020. Everybody knows what happened in 2020. So originally, Three Faces was supposed to be released as just as a song, just to keep the momentum coming and keep releasing stuff. But with all the pandemic and the music industry got hit so hard that a lot of bands actually disbanded, and then it was kind of like definitely a time of uncertainty.
Yeah, I saw your April the 1st Fool's Day joke.
Yeah.
Where Svet Kant have split up, and I just would. Yeah, I think actually it was the only thing that caught me that day, where I was just going. Bastards.
And then we actually kind of worked on that album, during the pandemic, just doing bits and bobs here and there. Mm-hmm. And then we said, okay, maybe since we were not playing live and we kept, writing new music and composing, said, okay, maybe why don't we just put just a little bit more, not just a single. So we said, okay, so we came up with this, three songs. Mm-hmm. And, since our songs are kind of long, some of them are longer than others, but it's around 20 minutes of music, which is kind of like a decent playtime. And, it's enough to keep you entertained, but it's not short enough just to be a single.
Yeah, and, it's a great stopgap, man. And the 3 songs are absolute quality. And what I liked about it as well is there is a big step in relation to your musical progression, and certainly the way you deliver the vocals as well. Really, really impressed with it. So congratulations on that.
Cool. Yeah. I think that this is more kind of like a way of living or philosophy style. Every time you put something out, well, at least I'd like it to be, better than previous things, because those kind of shows, evolution, maturity, progression in the way you approach production, singing, whatever, You always try to deliver more, because if not, people will just say, okay, I better just stick to the old stuff,
Yeah, competition is fierce as well.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you need to always stay at the top of your game. And, we kind of like, we always taken things very seriously, but you know, we always kind of try and push a little bit further. You know, that's the way great things, you know, come out. That's just the way we see it.
So the songwriting side of it, would I be correct in the Visage Unbiased? Probably was the majority of that wrote by you and lyrics as well. And what about this EP? Was it a more of a collaborative effort?
Yeah, it was like, we try to, even though most of the songs are written by me or were written in the past, now we kind of try to incorporate, you know, elements from all the band members, and you know, just to make it more interesting. And sometimes, you know, if you do all the songwriting, maybe you get, you know, like burnt out because, you know, it feels too much pressure. So I'm always happy to listen to new ideas, and you know, I never say, okay, this should be done this way and that's the final word. No, I like to keep things open, and you know, everybody puts their own, you know, contribution.
Yeah,
and I think it kind of reflects in the new songs, and we're very happy about them.
Yeah, so we better give a shout out to the band members: Paul Cassidy on bass, Dara Kenny on drums, and Lee Malloy on guitars. So I met actually Dara down at the Dead Cult Promotions gig. He was playing with Grey Stag, and he was. Yeah. I just couldn't take my eyes off him because he was so happy pounding them drums. You know,
that's the way he is.
Yeah, you know? This is a guy that needs to be playing. Fucking, you could see it a mile off. Like,
that's his thing.
Yeah. So I mean, I know that he's in a few projects. What did he bring, in your opinion, to this EP that's coming out?
Well, the good thing about Dara is that almost anything you ask him to, let's say I have this riff in my mind and I tell him, look, I have this kind of like vibe. So you just tell him what you're looking for, and then he comes up with something that's, you know, very, very close to what you're looking for. And also maybe, and on the opposite side, maybe I have a riff in my mind that goes with this, you know, drum pattern, but then he shows me something completely different. Mm-hmm. I say, wow, actually that works very well. Like, for instance, at the end of Three Faces, when it goes into like a real, you know, 4/4 straight beat, almost like a Metallica, you know, two pa. That's like Dara. Yeah. And you know, it really works. But it's always good, you know, to have that open mind, because like sometimes they show something that you were not considering, and it definitely works.
100%. So you stuck with Michael Richards and track mix again. Safe Bet, obviously, knows the band.
Yeah. Most of the way we're working right now is that, you know, I have like a little studio where I can, you know, do some pre-production, you know, guitars, some vocals, some bass, and the way we do is we do pre-production ourselves, and then we go to Mick to do the proper production, and that actually saves us time, because, you know, when you go into the studio, we already know what we want instead of going there to see what we want. And
time is money.
Always, exactly. And then for the mastering, just like in the previous album, we usually like having like a fresh pair of ears in terms of mixing against mastering, because that will give you like a new perspective. And we consider it's always good to have a fresh pair of ears. And actually we sent it to America to get it mastered, and actually Adam, which is the guy who mastered the EP, is the same guy who mastered Megadeth, the System Has Failed.
Yeah, I love the way you go for these guys that do the mastering, because you Ted Jensen in the last one, you know, Jane's Addiction, blah, 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 like who hasn't he done? So with Adam, like he's worked with Nirvana, the Foo Fighters, Pearl Jam, but he's also won a lot of Grammy Awards in the Latin music side of things. So you from Argentina, was there that vibe going on between you that you could sit down and have a chat about other music as well?
Well, yeah, you know, you always try to find someone who has like a broad, you know, musical spectrum and knowledge. You know, even though we're making mainly metal, it's always good to have like the perspective of someone who likes metal but also likes other genres of music, because they might give you something that maybe someone who just focuses on metal might not give you.
Yeah.
And well, I think it really worked really well, because we're very happy with the final product.
Because I mean, you certainly kind of got a hint of it with over the 3 tracks there, Circular, Sea of Planets, and The Cogs of Envy, especially, which was kind of a mixture of the heavy, harsh vocals with your clean singing vocals. How difficult is that to, in your own mind now, to come up with that type of melody, vocal melody, sitting on top of all that guitars, drums, you know? It just, I can't fathom how hard it is anyway, but then to play it live, I mean, you're a busy guitarist and singer.
I mean, it's just the way I work. Maybe other people work differently. It's just I try to push myself by writing stuff that I cannot play like initially. So maybe I write a riff, and then I come up with a melody that goes on top of that riff.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not that I can just play it, you know, straight up. Maybe it will take me like a couple of weeks or months to, you know, to put everything together. And I just don't want to let my technical limits to kind of avoid me from writing stuff that is cool. So if I have to practice a riff for 4 weeks in order to pull it off live, I will do it. Because I just don't want to compromise the music just because of my technical, limits.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to deliver lyrics as well on top of layered guitars, and you know, it's like, how do you balance that? Is it again through practice from singing with an acoustic guitar or electric guitar?
Well, it's a bit of everything, but the way I try my approach, it obviously changes within time. But for instance, if I know that I'm playing like a really complex riff, or there's kind of like a lot going on musically, let's say drums, bass, and guitar, maybe the vocals are not going to be doing something as difficult as that.
Okay. And
maybe when I have something that's simpler to play on the guitar, maybe I'm going to try and push it with the vocals, you know?
Yeah.
Because if not, it's just too much musical information all the time, you know, and you need to kind of balance it out.
Yeah. And does that come with rehearsals and practice, that you can maybe cut certain lyrics out of it just to make room for the vocals in relation to playing live, probably?
Yes. And I mean, the way I see it is you just need to work on your music and try to make it work from a whole point of view, you know. You need to kind of be able to critique yourself and say, okay, maybe now there's too much going on. I can cut the vocals out and just make like an instrumental part so that the listener, you know, takes a little break and then the vocals come up. It's just, you know, the process of writing music and trying to keep the listener engaged as much as possible.
Yeah. So what I did was I got Pat O'Regan to review your album or review your EP. And I just took a section from his review and see what you think of it. He goes, from a sophisticated night at the opera to a hyper-paced voyage through another dimension, this is metal that excites and stimulates the mind, never resting on its laurels, always progressing and developing into something new and compelling.
I think it's like spot on. Because like that's just what we like to do, you know. I mean, they say in music you have to write music that doesn't allow the listener to, you know, guess what's coming next, because if not, there's no interest, there's no surprise. Yes. So I think that's kind of like our approach, you know, always try to push that boundary, but not too much, because if not, then the listener might not grasp to anything.
Yeah, because it does get complex at times, and it's trying to find the balance that will keep the listener in tune with it, I suppose, really. The first track, anyway, that you decided to release is Three Faces, and it's the opening of the EP. Was that an obvious choice as a single?
I think so. Yeah, it's the first track that we actually put together, and we just wanted to make it like a good honor to it. As you can see, the cover of the album of the EP. There's the whole concept of the album is there's kind of like a Japanese saying that a person has like three faces. The first face is the one that he shows to the world. The second face is the one he shows, or he or she shows to close relatives, friends, and family. And the third face is the one that he doesn't show it to anyone. That only the person itself knows it. And that's kind of like the theme of the track. And three faces, three songs. Everything kind of made sense.
Yeah. Balance. The video for it. Who did you work with that, or did you shoot it yourself, or was Olga involved?
Yeah, we actually did it ourselves. We had like a rehearsal room booked up in the Liberties in Dublin, and then we shoot all the the instrumental, the footage of the band playing there.
Yeah. And
then for the story, me and Paul, we just went around Dublin. He knew like really cool spots, like that beach, or there's kind of like this lighthouse, and I had this idea in my mind, and we just went along to it. And we're actually now working on a new video for another song of the EP.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to play the first track, which is Three Faces, and that's the one we were talking about.
Cool.
I feel so bad for not including that Pantera riff in the middle of it, because but no, this is a great idea of how the whole EP goes. Again, with your singing, there's a band from Cork called Cormona. Have you ever heard of them?
Yeah. I know
they're similar enough in vocal style as well, with those harmonies, those high pitch harmonies. Jesus, that'd be fantastic to see the two of you playing together.
Definitely.
Yeah,
we will get in touch.
Yeah, the lyrics on that track there, Santiago. I'm hidden, I'm the coward, I'm the godlike, I'm the shy one, I am no one, fragile, I am the limit, a vessel. Does that, we'll say, add to the whole story around the three faces?
Definitely. It's like, I think that a person, and with its shift of mind state, sometimes you feel like you can take on the world, and sometimes you feel you're almost like a piece of shit, and sometimes you feel like you're a great person. Sometimes you're completely terrible. You know, that's kind of like how you feel and how they each represent different facets of the three faces, which a song revolves around.
Okay,
it's just you know, when you meet someone, it's like, which of all of them faces will that person get to know? You know?
Yeah, and especially on a night out in Dublin or Cork.
Yeah.
And there's a drink involved. The second track, Conjured. So I have the lyrics here is gathering flocks, animus bond, communion of the black hole, vortex within, virtue of sin, anxiety and vanishing pit. Are we going Carl Jung on this, or is there that reference there?
This song is, even though it rolls around the concept of the three faces, and for me, this song was massively inspired by an Opeth track called The Grand Conjuration.
Of course.
Hence the title.
Yes.
It kind of follows the same kind of theme or song style. You know, the riffs are completely different, but you know, kind of really eerie melodies and really almost spooky
vibe
style. And it just talks about, you know, slavery. You know, how it's basically about human dynamics, human relation dynamics. You know, there's always like a slave and a master, and how people, you know, there's a part that which says acephalous spirits, you know, like, or people with an unseen lord, is sometimes kids are left, you know, completely devoid of all, you know, parental or like tutors that will guide them through life. So
I'm glad
a bit of everything.
Yeah, I'm glad that the lyrics do come with the CD, and I love that with G and Bandcamp as well, because a lot of people have interest in what you're singing, and so that is all going to be there for them to pour over. So this is Conjured. We'll give this a listen to. That's going to be a firm live favorite, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Did you get the opportunity to play that song live yet?
Yeah. We played it in Belfast recently.
To the masses. Oh, cool.
And also in London. And
how did it go down?
Definitely, it's a great. It's a great track because it has like a little bit of everything, you know.
It does,
a little bit of heavy vocals and, you know, powerful bass. We really like playing it live.
Yeah, I mean, that's the story with all your tracks on this EP. There's so many different segments but it's just molded together perfectly. And as I said, the way your vocals float over them. And I suppose with experience as well, Santiago, there's a knowing of when to drop the heavy vocals in with the light melodic vocals. That comes with experience. It's probably not something a young band could pull off in their early days.
I mean, it's as you say, the more you play live, or the more tracks you put out, or the more albums you release, you start getting to know what people like, what people don't like, how people will react. You just always kind of like trying to guess what's going to work better. And definitely, the more experience you have, the more mature your music will sound. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. And the last track then is White Parlour. It's an interesting track as well. I know that when you sent me those 3 tracks, you said, "Oh, it's song 2 and 3, you're going to love them," And I must say, my favorite track is the first song 1 at the moment, which is which probably surprised you, the 3 Faces. But I mean,
well, the thing is that that song, it's actually maybe the other 2 songs are kind of they hit like from the get-go,
Yeah.
Whereas the first one, it's always kind of like a build-up. So how music nowadays is about getting to the climax as soon as possible. And maybe for some people who are a little bit anxious, they might say, "Oh, this after 2 minutes this is boring," but to each its own.
Yes, exactly.
We obviously love all the tracks. It's just that the first one develops a little bit slower, but we think that when it gets up there, it's kind of like really...
Oh, I mean, it's got your personality on it, stamped on it straight away. And that's what I loved about this EP, that it's just like, this is Svet Kant, but it's a new and improved Svet Kant, and they've gone up to a different level, in my opinion. So this is White Parlour. I'll play a bit off it. And again, some great riffs and everything in it, man. The lyrics actually are perfect for the song. Feasting these eyes with distant resentment and mockery, I bliss from afar, drenched in acrimonious scorn, sombered havens, fractals of a scattered mind, sheltered within a self-cast stupor. That sounds like someone going through massive turmoil and paranoia in their life. Is it the trait of the character in 3 Faces?
Definitely. For me, it's like, this song is more about White Parlour. The White Parlour is kind of that state of mind where somebody is like completely resentful of everything that goes everywhere. You know how some people actually enjoy other people suffer.
Yeah.
That part of the song that you just read, it's basically those kind of people that, when they see something, having an accident or something bad happens to them, some people actually rejoice in that, and it talks about how somber and dark some people can be actually, which is kind of really surprising.
Yeah, there's a great Japanese movie, or it might have been Korean movie, and these people get killed in it, and their ghosts actually sit on the shoulders of the characters that are alive in the movie and just fucking torment them. They're invisible, but like,
right.
I don't know what it is, man. Yeah, that burden. So that was the final track. Was that the obvious one to end it?
Actually, not really. Actually, originally, we wanted to maybe open the EP with White Parlour, but then, I mean, things we discussed it, and I actually really like the ending of it because it kind of like really closes like with a boom. You know, it's like, and we wanted to leave because if you analyze the EP, it's like short song, long song, short song. So it's like 6 minutes, 9 minutes, 6 minutes. So we just wanted to keep that balanced. And I mean, the last song is kind of full of riffs, so we want to kind of end on a high note.
Definitely, yeah.
And Three Faces, opening track, same name. It makes sense to open the EP.
It does.
It's always kind of like a build-up, constant.
Yeah, and in relation to the artwork, you touched on it briefly there. Did you actually do that yourself? Did you kind of gather up all those images and?
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of like a circle with this guy with three faces that was taken from like a book of Japanese, Japanese culture drawings, and then all the rest is what just designed by me. I bought the images or downloaded it from the internet, and then I just came up with that kind of like.
It's a beautiful, beautifully put together, my man. And as I said, that's the picture. Shout out to Olga who did the picture.
Yeah. Olga, she's a great photographer, and
I like the fact as well. You put the credits in the end and the thanks. Old school, man. You can't beat it.
Yeah, I mean that's how I grew. Back in my day was you just buy an album, you start reading the thing, you see the credits, thanks to this, thanks to that, thanks to the family. I think it's just a good way to.
It is
always thank the people that will always be there in your ups and downs. And
100%, 100%. I like that. Are you funding this yourself? Is this a self-release?
Yeah, actually, with all of this pandemic, and said, nobody is rushing us, and we kind of have the knowledge to put stuff ourselves, and at least up to a certain stage, and then from there we can go to mix and master out. So it's let's just try the independent way
approach
and see how it goes, and then that's just how we feel about the career at this stage. And working with Bandcamp, and we really want to try and push our Bandcamp store because it's a great way to connect directly with fans.
Absolutely.
And whenever they buy your stuff, you get the money instantly. You don't have to wait maybe a year until the company sends the royalties or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it's the music industry is kind of going that way, where bands can really connect closely with their fans and in a more personal and more intimate way. And I think that's the approach we're going to take for now. Maybe in a couple of years a big company calls us, but until that happens, we're just going to grow our fan base like personally, and we want to actually get to know our fans, not just our followers.
Yeah, because you were with Wormhole Dead Records, weren't you, for a bit?
Well, the second album is part of their catalog, so they kind of manage that, but that doesn't stop us from releasing our own material as we're doing now. So
yeah. Well, as I said, it's a brilliantly put together EP, I must say. What about upcoming shows to promote it? Are you going to have a launch, for example, or is there anything you can tell us at the moment?
Well, we're working with different promoters. As I said, off camera, we're trying to put a show in Cork with Dead Call Promotions. That's still as a draft. And then I've also been in touch with a promoter in Isle of Man. So we're hoping to go and play there, hopefully in the summer, maybe like June, July, May, still in draft. And then we actually had a show booked for the 8th of March in London, but that got rescheduled for next year again.
Jesus.
And then we have another show in London in August. So, we're taking it easy in terms of shows because up until now we were kind of really focused on putting the EP as best as possible, and we're going to be promoting it, online and stuff like that.
Did that show go ahead with Gamma Bomb?
Yes, it went ahead. It was in November last year.
Yeah, how did that go?
Yeah, it was really, really good. The lads of Gamma Bomb are like really cool and sound guys, so we had a great time. And it's always good to play in London, in the underworld.
Yeah,
so.
The underworld, Jesus, of all places. Yeah, that's class. And was that literally the only gig that you did last year?
No, we also had one in August that same year, again in the underworld. We're supporting Acid Rain.
Jesus Christ, that's mad. Acid Rain, wow.
Yeah, and because things were really, really slow last year. So with all the pandemic, it was like up until 2 weeks before you didn't know if it was going to go ahead or be cancelled. But
I'm intrigued that the fact that you've had 2 gigs in London with 2 trash pans when you're not exactly in that type of genre as such.
Yeah, the opportunity came up. And say, we're not those kind of people that say, we're not going to play because of this or that. So say,
of course. Yeah.
No, so variety is the taste, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, with the type of music you play, it certainly will appeal to most metalheads. Like there's a big, massive post-metal scene there. I think you'd slot in there, no problem. Literally, there's plenty of bands there that you can combine. Even in Ireland, that there could be a 2 or 3 city package there with yourselves and another 2 different bands, and it'd be fantastic to see. So that's all further down the line. And I suppose with so many cancellations with gigs as well, it's difficult to actually get into a venue now.
Yeah. Luckily, the UK, or at least London, they went a little bit faster in all the terms of restrictions. So when we were there, like it almost felt like there was no pandemic. Now Ireland kind of caught up to that because now the restrictions have been almost vanished. But hopefully, you can see in Cork and in Dublin, live gigs are coming fast and are kind of like catching up. So hopefully there would be opportunities to play more shows. And we played Belfast and it was right.
Yeah,
and a great time.
Yeah, what a great spot up there. In relation to the gear you used then for the recording of the EP, Santiago, could you just give us an overview on what guitars and stuff that you used for it?
Yeah, for the way we do is I have like an interface, like a wind interface, and I have my Kemper profiler, which is kind of like a real hot amp at the moment. So what I do is just take out like a direct line from the Kemper into the interface into my recording gear in my laptop, and I just use that, and then we reamp it with mic. But I'm using an 8-string Ibanez guitar as well. In the album, you're gonna hear some really, really low, heavy notes that are from the 8th string. But we also try not to overdo it. We just like a little bit, not too much, just not to overwhelm the listener. And then, for the bass is like, I think it's like Paul has like a Fender Precision or a Yamaha, really, really 5-string bass.
Mm-hmm.
And our tuning is like one step down. So if you're from a standard tuning, which is in E, you have to drop it down to D.
Okay.
And that's basically it.
Cool.
Some effects here and there, but nothing too fancy,
Yeah. Okay. Works really well, my man. So the EP is out on April the 15th. For
That's
those
right.
that are listening to the show, so it will be up on Bandcamp, and there will be a digital copy, a hard copy, which is a CD. And is there any merch going to be ready, or is it you still have your old stuff?
We're working on releasing some T-shirts, and we're gonna print some stickers.
Okay.
But at the moment, we're gonna be working mainly with the CDs.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I wanted to kind of remind everybody that we're doing this kind of promo thing in Bandcamp is that whatever you buy in Bandcamp, or whenever you buy something from us in Bandcamp, then we're gonna add you to like our database, and every time we put up, we release a new single or a new album or a new EP, we're gonna send you like a personalized email with the download to a single from that release. And that will happen for every future release. So if you buy it now and then we release 20 albums in the future, then you're gonna get like 20 emails with a new single each time we release. So we're really trying to push, the independent part of the band, and by promoting it through Bandcamp. And I hope people like that. And we're not trying to spam you, but we're trying to send you good stuff in advance,
There's a big difference, man.
Well, I mean, we're going to take care of everything. So you just need to sit and wait for your treat.
Yeah. Listen, man, congratulations again on the EP. It's absolutely outstanding. I loved it. There's a fantastic review on the Metal Cell website as well of the EP. And thanks for going through all the tracks, and just absolutely wish you nothing but success with it. Thank you, Santiago.
Okay, well, I want to thank you and your reviewer, and in behalf of the band and especially myself, I think that you've been doing like a really, really good job in promoting the music and the metal scene within Cork and Ireland. So we really appreciate your support, and we hope to release more stuff and send it to you and keep on having this.
And crucially,
podcast interviews.
Thank you. And I'll see you at the front row, man, for when you're playing in Cork.
Okay, thanks very much. And we'll bring you a large t-shirt, don't worry.
Okay, so you've been listening to Santiago from Svet Kant. Again, the EP is coming out on April the 15th. It's called Three Faces. You've heard 3 tracks off it. Every track is fantastic. And please support them on Bandcamp. You can check them out on Facebook and all the social media sites. They're excellent at updating that as well. So crucially, support your local metal scene, and thanks everybody for listening.
Thanks very much. Everybody, a good night or a good day.
Cheers.